Welcome back to another episode here at Vern's Valley. I hope you guys have had a fantastic start to the week. It is Hump Day Wednesday. Today's episode, we'll be going over the significant rain totals, guys. Some very strong storms coming up, and maybe some flooding. So maybe it's not as crazy as last year's June, but I think we might be getting close, especially if some of these rain totals come to fruition. So that being said, we'll jump right into it using the HRRR model, and we'll be going back on this episode with the NAM 3 kilometer because there's some discrepancies between the two. If they both agreed, I would just normally do the one, but we'll do the two for this episode. We'll make this short and sweet. Last time I kind of dragged this out, but we'll go over the composite reflectivity, the dew points, and that's about it because those are the things that I look for storms. So tomorrow there's a marginal risk. The SPC, has issued a marginal risk for storms. We'll actually, real quick, we'll hop over to that because this is why we're making this video. So as you can see, marginal risk for a good chunk of southern and central Minnesota. There is actually a tornado risk as well for a good chunk of southwestern and south central Minnesota, all the way up to Meeker County, up to Benson. I forget what is up here, forgive me, it's a Big Stone, and then all the way back to Mankato, Worthington, all the way up to Sioux Falls. So that's why we're making this video. So there is a small chance for tornadoes tomorrow. That's why I was going to use the two models, because there is, again, some discrepancies. So we'll jump back into where I was at before. Getting to Minnesota, we'll go over the composite reflectivity. So this is for 7 p.m. right now, guys. As you can see, the rain that we just had rolled out, and we'll jump ahead here for tomorrow morning. So this is at 1 a.m. Some clusters of storms start rolling back into the state at 2. As you can see, this line just continues to blow moisture right after one after another, I should say. So as you can see, good chunk of the morning it will rain in this good southern part of the state, and then that I would say warm front, that little cluster, this line continues to shift off. It's almost stationary. Look at this. This is at noon tomorrow, and then this is 2 o'clock. So it just hangs around. 3 o'clock just hangs around. So this is 5 p.m. Still raining. Stationary. That's why we're going to get a lot of rain over these next couple days. So little bubblers right here over like Redwood Falls area. I'm pretty sure that would be like Wilmer's right here. I forget what the south of that is. I know Fairfax is over there and whatnot, but we'll jump ahead. As you can see, a little bit more severe storms down here to the south. There's a little bit more moisture. Again, we'll hop to the dew points because that's what we really need is the moisture. So maybe some marginal bubblers right here in the McLeod County, the Wright County area. That'd be like Howard Lake, Hutch, Glencoe area. What else is down here? I can't think of the name. St. Bonnie, I know that's over there. So I think the more these stronger storms will be to the south. Again, it rains constantly, guys. Look at that. If you guys keep a look for the mouse right here, Litchfield, Meeker County. I just want you guys to keep an eye on that. That's 11 a.m., right? 12, 1, 3, 6. It rains almost constantly for like 18 hours. That's crazy. We're going to get so much rain. So we'll go to the dew points quick. So obviously the more moisture the better, guys. We'll scroll down so you get the whole view. And as you can see here, this is Thursday by 1 p.m. As you can see, remember that convective line was still raining in Meeker County. So it's a 55 dew point. And then down here for us, Mankato people, is 61 dew points. So a little bit more rich environment on the I-90 corridor over by Worthington. I forget what else would be over here, forgive me, but 64 dew point, a little bit more rich. So we'll jump ahead. This is noon, and then we'll go to about 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, right around the prime hour. So a little bit richer Dew points 65. Forgive me for the cat. Rue's a little lonely. So we'll look at that. 67, and then 66, and then obviously as you go over here into almost central South Dakota, closer to that low pressure center, it's a little bit richer dew points over there. So we will jump ahead to Friday as well, because this just continues to produce and stay stationary. So look at that, 70-degree dew points for Friday afternoon. Just over here in Mankato, 68 dew points, and then Waseca County, a little bit of 66 dew points. But this is only 2 p.m. guys. So we'll jump ahead to 4 o'clock, and as you can see here, that 70-degree dew point pool is just outside of Mankato, just south of New Ulm. We'll click there to get a good sounding, kind of give you guys a good idea in the atmosphere. So probable hazard type tornado. As you can see here, 0 kilometers to surface. As you go up to the 1 kilometer, that's a couple thousand feet up. And then as you go up to 2 kilometers, it's a couple more thousand feet up, so on and so forth. So 0 kilometer surface, and then as you can see, you can barely see, but you can see 6 kilometer. Obviously, that's higher up. You can correspond it with the kilometers over here on the left hand side, as you can see where my mouse is. So 15 kilometers way up in the atmosphere, and then 0 kilometers of surface. So plenty of rotation in the atmosphere as the winds come from the southwest and then switch to the south, and then come from the southwest, and then eventually just stick out to the west. So definitely enough rotation in the atmosphere. Definitely the cloud base is low enough, and this is for Friday again. Keep in mind, not tomorrow, for Friday. This is 4 p.m. and this is 6 p.m. Look at that. That dew point pool just continues to pool up there. 72 dew point, just still crazy. Look at that. Absolutely insane photographs. A lot of rotation in the atmosphere on Friday, guys. You can see that whole low pressure system. This is the classical triple point right here. This is where all the spin comes into play. So keep an eye on tomorrow. Definitely significant rain. We'll see what the HRRR says for rain totals, because I know a lot of people are concerned about that. Let me scroll down without goofing this all up. So this is until Friday at 7 p.m. guys. So a pocket of almost 5 inches of rain, St. Cloud, Sauk Center, that area, and then for Meeker County about 2 inches, Wilmer about inch and 3/4, and then Mankato, for some god reason, we get a half inch, almost an inch of rain. So Waseca County, maybe a 1/4 inch. Now this all depends on where the storms can form and where the moisture return comes into play. So with that being said, we will jump over to the NAM 3 kilometer. We will do the same thing we just did. We will jump to the composite reflectivity, and we will get a good comparison to what the two have in common or what they don't have in common. So, this shows 11 a.m. That cluster of storms still over Meeker County, cleared out from Mankato. 1, 2, 3 o'clock, it's still raining up there, but this shows at 7 o'clock that line kind of forming off to the southwest. So maybe that's why the Storm Prediction Center issued that marginal risk. Maybe that is right there. Maybe that line might be approaching a little bit too late. Obviously if those storms approach at 6 o'clock during daytime heating, or where there's more moisture, they could be more more powerful. But look at that, they just break apart right at sunset. So who knows what will happen tomorrow. It looks a pretty good wash majority of the day for central Minnesota and northern Minnesota. I'm pretty sure that's where significant of the rain totals will be for the next couple of days. But I do want to jump to Friday on here and see what this one says. So this one shows a line of probably pretty good significant storms. Whoops, jumped a little bit too far ahead there. So this is 5 o'clock. We will take a sounding here real quick and see what this says. So this also agrees a very good I wouldn't say very good. There's still, enough curvature in the atmosphere to produce a spin up, but not nearly as much of how do I put that? I wouldn't say this is more of a broad rotation, and that other sounding we did off the HRRR is more of a defined, like that you can actually tell from 0 to 1, 1 to 2, like there is a change in the wind throughout the height in the atmosphere the entire way. So this just might be a very good, powerful line of storms, almost like a mesoscale convective system. But they might pack a punch. Let's see what 7 o'clock looks like out here in Wisconsin. As of right now, the Storm Prediction Center does not have anything highlighted over here other than a general thunder risk for Friday. So as you can see here, there's a small cap. There's just not enough lapse rates. There's not enough juice. There's not enough cape. Not enough convective allowing energy in the atmosphere for Friday, according to the NAM 3 kilometer. We'll jump over to the dew points because, again, we need more moisture, the better. Lower the cloud bases, the better the spin in the atmosphere. So this shows tomorrow. Sorry for getting too far ahead, guys, but 65 for a dew point for tomorrow at 5 o'clock. So we'll jump back 2 o'clock, we'll go back in time. So still 65 pretty much throughout the whole day tomorrow. And then as we get closer to Friday, you can see that low pressure system come into play right here. So this whole field of 65 degree dew points might be interesting how it's all. Yeah, look at that, 70 degree dew points, guys, at 5 p.m. on Friday. So this actually, depending on how everything sets up, yeah, it's still tornado, 72 over 79. So I like, me personally, the temp and the dew point to be as close as possible. So again, lower the cloud base. Not the tornado doesn't have to go as far to the ground to touch down. So extremely low cloud base here, 72 or 79 again, and there's 3,300 cape. If you guys don't know, or if you don't remember, you need about 1,500 to have a very good thunderstorm with a tornado potential. So 3,300 is more than enough to produce some very good storms. So we'll actually go click on Rochester because I like to be ahead of the front and see what it says. So still some rotation, still some curvature, some rotation in the atmosphere, but not as defined. Still there though, don't get me wrong. We'll jump ahead. Look at that. This whole thing conveys. Oh my goodness. Friday might be interesting. Tornado. 2,500 cape still. Plenty of rotation from the 0 to 1 and then 1 to 2. Look at that. 70 degrees, man. 72 for Usika. That is a New Richland. That is moist. Yeah, definitely. I don't see a maybe discrete mode, but definitely a line of very strong storms Friday. Maybe some good soakers. But look at that. You get into Saturday morning, and the dew points drop significantly. I wonder what Saturday morning looks like for a temp. I bet it looks nice. Look at that. Saturday morning after everything, 53 degrees, guys. 45 up in Duluth. Beautiful. So that pretty much conveys this episode. If you like what you watch, please comment, subscribe, share it. I do appreciate it all to my subscribers. You guys are the best. And it's gonna get wet. Bring a raincoat, check your sump pumps, check your gutters, check it all. So enjoy these next couple days if you're a brother geek like me. If not, wait for the weekend because it will cool off. And there'll still be rain chances, unfortunately. It's going to be a wet June. So we'll see you next time here at Burns Valley.